Good afternoon. Give me a few minutes and I will everything started. All right, today we have or we're starting, let's see, we're starting the front end libraries certification. We're starting out with Bootstrap. And if we have time, depending on how involved these are, we'll move on to jQuery as well. But I can't. I have to try to keep it to an hour today. Alright, so use responsive design with Bootstrap fluid containers. In the HTML5 and CSS section of the Free Code Camp, we built a cat photo app. Now let's go back to it. This time we'll style it using the popular Bootstrap responsive CSS framework. Bootstrap will figure out how wide your screen is and respond by resizing your HTML elements, hence the name responsive design. With responsive design, there is no need to design a mobile version of your website. It will look good on devices with screens of any width. You can add Bootstrap to any app by adding the following code to the top of your HTML. So we got link element here, the style sheet, and it points to Bootstrap on Mac CDN. Alright, so in this case, we've already added it for you to this page behind the scenes. Note that using either to close the link tag is acceptable. To get started, we should nest all of our HTML except the link tag and the style element in a div element with the class container fluid. Alright, so the tests are your div element should have the class container fluid. Alright, we already have our link here. Let's give ourselves some more room. everything besides the link and style, it wants us to wrap with a div with container-fluid as the class. Oh, there's no magic here. That's right. All right. No magic. I'm actually gonna pull up VS Code for this stuff. I just had to make sure that I closed my work project there. Alright, so let's see here. Is there a way to set this as HTML? What I can do is just wrong command there. Go to my code directory. Make a streaming directory. There we go. Alright, so now we should have some magic. So for instance, I can take this and I can just say div container fluid and hit tab. We want to copy this and put that down here. I like my stuff tabbed out, so let's tab it out. Those two. Yo, what's up, Sophie? We're learning about Bootstrap today. Don't need to save that. We want this open. Stuff needs to be tabbed. Thought it was. How much are you working today? Let's put this over here. Yeah, this is good. Alright, what were the other things that it wanted us to do? Your div element should have the class container fluid. Make sure the div has closing tag. Make sure you have nested all the HTML elements after the closing style in a tag container fluid. So I think we've done that. Got our div there. We can just copy it and we'll paste it in here and run the tests. Oh, are you sick today? It's unfortunate. I hope you feel better. Ill, like ill at Diablo? Like you're sick at it? Make images mobile responsive. First, add a new image below the existing one. Set its source attribute to this URL right here, running cats. It'd be great if this image could be exactly the width of our phone's screen. Fortunately, with Bootstrap, all we need to do is add the image responsive class to your image. To do this, and the image should be perfectly fit the width of your page. So we'll copy all this, go over to our editor, paste. It wants us to create a new image below this one. I don't know if that means within the A or not. We could probably... Look. Man, in here I thought I was gonna get, like, ahead today after the stream. Alright, so what am I doing? I'm looking at the tests. You should have a total of 2 images. Your image should be below your old one and have the class image responsive. Your new image should not have the class smaller image. Alright, so we'll just put this right here. No, that's not what I want to do. I keep doing that. There's nothing to paste. So image, what was it? Image responsive? Yep. There we go. Source. We had the source before. Copied something else. Running cats. I don't know if that needs to be capitalized. Yeah, I almost have my pieces, all my pieces for my leap. I need to set items. I need that fucking belt. Oh my god. Alright, so that should be it. Image. We got our image responsive. It wants us to have the closing tag on it. I think that was it. So we can copy this, paste this over. Oh, do I have 2 of them for some reason? Is there 2 of everything? There's only 1. So confused. I have a total of 2 images. Okay. Well. Why is this like this? What did I do? Set the code. Alright, that's better. Okay. Things bugging out on me. You got your cube weapon today? What weapon is that? What does it do? Alright, let me look at my... I do have two of them here. Just jack this all up. Okay, that's better. Oh. Alright. You can redo it. It's fine. The relaxing cat. We need the running cats. Alright, there we go. Boom. Increases your meteor damage. Alright, let's run the tests. Sweet. Alright, now that we're using Bootstrap, we can center our heading element to make it look better. All we need to do is add the class text center to our H2 element. Remember that you can add several classes to the same element by separating each of them with a space, like this. So I'm not going to copy this over. Let's just find the H2. So we got our red text center. And that centers it. So we'll run past it. Create a Bootstrap button. But Bootstrap has its own styles for button elements, which look much better than the plain HTML ones. Create a new button element below your large kitten photo. Give it the button and button default classes, as well as the text of like. Alright, so here's our kitten photo. We will copy this. So we have a button. Use the button and button defaults. So with Emmet, we can do this. And it needs to be a like button. So let's copy that back over. And now we have this like button. Normally your button elements with the button and button default classes are only as wide as the text that they contain. For example, this button would only be as wide as the word submit. By making them block elements with the additional class of button block, your button will stretch to fill your page's entire horizontal space, and any elements following it will flow onto a new line below the block. This button would take up 100% of the available width. Note that these buttons still need the button class. Add Bootstrap's a button block class to your Bootstrap button. Here's our button. So we just do button block. And now we have full width button. Run the tests here. Taste the Bootstrap button color rainbow. The button primary class is the main color you'll use in your app. It is useful for highlighting actions you want your user to take. Replace Bootstrap's button default class by button primary in your button. Note that this button will still need the BTN and the BTN block classes. So we just change this to primary. That gives us our primary color on our button. Call out optional actions with button info. Bootstrap comes with several predefined colors for buttons. The button info class is used to call attention to optional actions that the user can take. Create a new block level Bootstrap button below your like button with the text info and add Bootstrap's button info, BTN info, and BTN block classes to it. Note that these buttons still need... Okay, yeah, I'm not going to say that. So we need a new button. We're going to copy this because we already have one. And we want to make it a button info. And for it to say info. So now we got our two little buttons here. Warn your users of a dangerous action with BTN danger. Bootstrap comes with several predefined colors for buttons. The button danger class, or BTN danger class, is the button color you'll use to notify users that the button performs a destructive action, such as deleting a cat photo. Create a button with the text delete and give it the class button danger. So we're going to add another button here. And we'll select this and we'll put danger. And this will say delete. They don't really do anything, but they're there. Use the Bootstrap grid to put elements side by side. Bootstrap uses a responsive 12-column grid system, which makes it easy to put elements into rows and specify each element's relative width. Most of Bootstrap's classes can be applied to a div element. Bootstrap has different column width attributes that it uses depending on how wide the user's screen is. For example, phones have narrow screens and laptops have wider screens. Take, for example, Bootstrap's column MD asterisk class, wildcard class. Here, MD means medium, and the star is a number specifying how many columns wide the element should be. In this case, the column width of an element on a medium-sized screen, such as laptop, is being specified. In the cat photo app that we're building, we'll use column XS star, where XS means ultra small, like an extra small mobile phone screen, and star is the number of columns specifying how many columns wide the element should be. Put the like info and delete buttons side by side by nesting all three of them within one row element, div row element. Then each of them within a div class column XS4. So yeah, all right. The row class is applied to a div, and the button themselves can be nested within them. So we need to find our buttons here. Give ourselves some space so we can see what we're working with. So we want a div. No magic. This needs to be a row. I see what it's saying. And then we have 3 columns that are 4 out of 12 slots wide on an extra small screen. So we're gonna take this and paste it before every button, and then we're gonna close out the divs, and we'll take that and copy it, placed it again below every button. We can tab in these buttons, and you just want to make sure that these add up to 12. They do, so we have our 3 spots there. So let's run the tests. Ditch custom CSS for Bootstrap. We can clean up our code and make our cat photo app look more conventional by using Bootstrap's built-in styles instead of the custom styles we created earlier. Don't worry, there will be plenty of time to customize our CSS later. Delete the red text P and smaller image CSS declarations from your style element so that the only declarations left in your style element are H2 and thick green border. So we're getting rid of red text P and smaller image. Just trying to make sure you're reading along there. And delete the P element that contains a dead link. This right here. Remove the red text class from your H2 element and replace it with the text primary Bootstrap class. So we have red text here, text primary. Finally, remove the smaller image class from your first image element and replace it with the image responsive. So we have smaller image here, we did earlier, and that image responsive. So now we have our 2 images, they're both responsive. Let's run the tests. Great. Use a span to target inline elements. You can use spans to create inline elements. Remember when we used the button block class to make the button fill the entire row? So we have our normal button, button block button. That illustrates the difference between an inline element and a block element. By using the inline span element, you can put several elements on the same line and even style different parts of the same line differently. That's the word love in your things cats love element below within a span element. Then give the span the class text danger to make the text red. Here's how you would do this with the top 3 things cat hate element. So we got the span here. So yeah, this is just showing the difference between block and inline elements, which is kind of confusing when you're first starting out. Alright, so we need to find things cats love, and it's in a P element, which is a block element. That's why it's on its own line and not in line with these buttons here. Divs are block as well. So spans just kind of wrap something without affecting its flow because it's inline. And it wants us to make the class text danger, so it's red. There's some red text there. will make a simple heading for our cat photo app by putting the title and relaxing cat image in the same row. Remember, Bootstrap uses a responsive grid system, which makes it easy to put elements into rows and specify each element's relative width. Most of Bootstrap's classes can be applied to a div element. Nest your first image and your h2 element within a single div class row element. Nest your h2 element within a div class column xs8 and your image in a div class column xs4 so that they are on the same line. Those both add up to 12. Notice how the image is now just the right size to fit along the text. Nest your first image and your h2 element within a single. Alright. So it wants us to take these two. We're going to copy this. I need to practice using these keyboard shortcuts for Emmett myself. So it wants us to take these two things here. We'll copy them. Oh no, that's right. Wrap with abbreviation. So then div. Oh, it's so good. What's the class? It's gonna end up being row, right? And then we needed a column xs4 plus a div column xs8. So we'll do that. All right. So that's pretty good. And we just need to copy this in here. I think that's how it wanted it. I'll take a look and see. Oh, I wanted 8 and then 4. So we did it backwards. So we'll just swap these 8, then 4. See here, your H2 element and topmost image element should both be nested together within a div element with class row. Image is an 4 and then 8. All right, so that should pass it. Sweet. Sweet. Add Font Awesome icons to our buttons. Font Awesome is a convenient library of icons. These icons are vector graphics stored in the SVG file format. These icons are treated just like fonts. You can specify their size using pixels, and they will assume the font size of their parent HTML elements. You can include Font Awesome in any app by adding the following code to the top of your HTML. In this case, we've already added it for you to this page behind the scenes. The I element was originally used to make other elements italic, but it is now commonly used for icons. You can add the Font Awesome classes to the I element to turn it into an icon. For example, we have I, and then we have a class of FA and FA-info-circle. Note that the span element is also acceptable for use with icons. Use Font Awesome to add a thumbs up icon to your like button by giving it an I element with the classes FA and FA thumbs up. Make sure to keep the text like next to the icon. So here's our like button, and So it wants to keep us, so I think it just means no space there. So we have a span. We could use I. We'll use I. That's fine for me. And then FA and FA thumbs up. And close that out. And it would look more decent if it was a little wider here. And we just have a nice little like button there. Look at that. Add Font Awesome icons to all of our buttons. Font Awesome is a convenient library of icons. These icons are vector graphics stored in the SVG file format. I'm not going to read all that again. We just read that. Use Font Awesome to add an info circle icon to your info button and a trash icon to your delete button. So it just wants us to add some more icons here. So we'll copy the last one that we did. It's weird this one isn't next to it, and we'll just paste them in here. And for the info class, it wants us to use info circle, and for this, just trash. Get rid of this P. So now we have our 3 nice buttons. They're nice. Nice. Alright. Responsively style radio buttons. You can use Bootstrap's column, extra small, asterisk classes on form elements too. This way our radio button will be evenly spread out across the page, regardless of how wide the screen resolution is. Nest both of your radio buttons within a div class row element. Then next, nest each of them within a div class column extra small 6 element. As a reminder, radio buttons are input elements of the type radio. Just both of your radio buttons within a div. So where are our radio buttons? Right down here, indoor, outdoor. So once again, I'm going to copy this over and paste it into VS Code so we can use some magic. We have our radio inputs, and we're going to highlight them and do emit wrap with abbreviation, and we need to wrap them with a row. And then within that row needs to be 2 divs that are 6 each. And that should do it. And we just need to copy this line into this space up here. And that should do that. Fix this over here and paste it on top. Now we have some nicer buttons. All right, nice. Responsively style checkboxes. You can use Bootstrap's column, extra small, asterisk classes on forms too. We read that in the last one. Nest all 3 of your checkboxes in a div class row element. Okay, so it wants us to do the same thing. So again, we'll copy this, hop over here, paste. We're going to do it to these checkboxes. Wrap and we'll say row. And then there's 3 of them, so we need div column extra small 4, because 4, 8, 12. So say times 3. Hit enter, and just copy these in one by one. And we'll paste it on top and run our tests. We'll take a look first. Yeah, those are nice. Look at that. Fancy. Cool, cool. Alright, style text inputs as form controls. You can add the FA paper plane font awesome icon by adding this markup within your submit button element. Give your form's text input field a class of form control. Give your form submit button the classes button and button primary. Also give this button the font awesome icon of FA paper plane. All textual input, text area, and select elements with the class form control have a width of 100%. So we're working on this text input field, which is right here. And we're going to give it a class equal to form control. And that should make it look way nicer. For the button here, it wants us to give classes of button and button primary. Also give this button the font awesome icon of FA paper plane. So we have an icon up here. I believe we do, yep. We're gonna copy it. Paste it. Select this and paper plane. Nice. Run our tests. Passed. Line up form elements responsively with Bootstrap. Now let's get your form input and your submission button on the same line. We'll do this the same way we have previous, by using a div element with the class row and other div elements with it using the column extra small asterisk class. That's both your form's text input and submit button within a div with the class row. Nest your form's text input within a div with the class of column extra small 7. Nest your form submit button in a div with the class extra small 5. This is the last challenge we'll do for our cat photo app for now. We hope you've enjoyed learning font awesome, Bootstrap, and responsive design. Alright, so we're going to copy this over. And let's look at the test criteria here. So it just wants us to wrap the input and submit button. Wants us to take this and put them both on the same line. So we'll come over here and we'll highlight them like we did. Command Shift P or Control Shift P, depending on if you're on Mac Windows. And if you have Emmet turned on, we can do wrap with abbreviation. Row. And we need 2 of these. One of them will be 7, but we're just going to do it times 2 to get them out there. Change the value. So it wanted, what did it want? 7 and 5, so I wasn't even right. That's okay. The button will be 5. So we have 5. 12 minus 5 is 7. So we have that. We can copy it back over. Now they are on the same line. Run the tests, submit, and go to the next challenge. Bootstrap, create a Bootstrap headline. Now let's build something from scratch to practice our HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap skills. We will build a jQuery playground, which we'll soon put to use in our jQuery challenges. Start with create an H3 element with the text jQuery playground. Color your H3 element with the text primary Bootstrap class and center it with the text center Bootstrap class. So we'll hop over here, take all this out. We have H3. I want to text center and text primary to make it our primary color. I'm not sure if there's anything that you can do. How do you do, let's see here. Emmet cheat sheet. Let's find an Emmet cheat sheet here. I want to see if we can add a value. Rated content. So much stuff. Tag names. Not really seeing anything. Could be missing it. Alright. That's fine though. So we'll do this, and then we have jQuery playground. Copy it. Let's run the tests, and we passed. Our page within a Bootstrap container fluid div. Now let's make sure all the content on your page is mobile responsive. Let's nest your H3 element within a div element with the class container fluid. So I'll hop back over here. This is already selected, so we can pop up this and use our abbreviation thing. And it wants us to use container fluid. Just copy this. Can't really see the effects of that right now. If there's a lot of text on the page, you would. Let's see here. Create a Bootstrap row. Now we'll create a Bootstrap row for our inline elements. Create a div element below the H3 tag with a class of row. So hop back over here and div.row. There we go. Look at that. Split your Bootstrap row. Now that we have a Bootstrap row, let's split it into two columns to house our elements. Create two div elements within your row, both with the class column extra small 6. So it wants us to create two extra small 6 columns here, so we can just do this, and that will do it. Create Bootstrap wells. Bootstrap has a class called well that can create a visual sense of depth for your columns. Nest one div element with the class well within each of your div column extra small 6 div elements. So it wants us to nest inside each. Okay, nest one div element within each of them. Okay. So div.well times 2, and we'll copy this one and paste it down here. Fix the tabbing. Add elements within your Bootstrap wells. Now we're several div elements deep on each column of our row. This is as deep as we'll need to go. Now we can add our button elements. Nest 3 button elements within each of your well div elements. So it wants 3 buttons in each. We'll come back over here. Button. I want nothing special, just buttons. So button times 3. And we can just do that again. Button times 3. We have three buttons with nothing inside them. Apply the default Bootstrap button style. Bootstrap has another class called button default. Apply both the button and button default classes to each of your button elements. So we're going to come back here and undo all of this so that we can button, and what did it want? Button default. So we'll do a dot for a class button default times 3, and we will just copy this time and paste it. So we have our 3 buttons. Let's run the tests. Create a class to target with jQuery selectors. Not every class needs to have a corresponding CSS. Sometimes we create classes just for the purpose of selecting these elements more easily using jQuery. Give each of your button elements the class target. Alright, so we'll hop back over here. And instead of redoing everything, I think we're gonna do some multi-cursor magic here. And just type target. Run the tests. Alright. Add ID attributes to Bootstrap elements. Recall that in addition to class attributes, you can give each of your elements an ID attribute. Each ID must be unique to a specific element and used only once per page. Let's give a unique ID to each of our div elements, as well as elements of class well. And remember that you can give an element an ID like this. Give the well on the left the ID left well, and the ID on the right well. So this we'll go ahead and do in here. Left well. Oh, that not a class. We need an ID. ID equals left well. And we can copy this, save some keystrokes here, paste. Right well. We're gonna copy that to paste into VS Code later. Let's run the tests. We're good. I'm gonna copy. We're gonna paste this over here real quick so that we have an updated version with our left and right wells. Label Bootstrap wells. For the sake of clarity, let's label both of our wells with their IDs. Above your left well, inside its column extra small 6 div element, add a h4 element with the text left well. Above your right well, inside the column extra small, we'll add another one. Alright, so we'll come back over here. H4, was it H4? Yep. We'll say left well, and we'll just copy this. I think it actually wants it up here. That would have been easier seen if these were tabbed right. Alright. Tab this out as well. Come up here, copy this line again. Change the text to right well. And detab it. And indent it. And copy and paste it. See what it looks like, left well and right well. Let's run the tests. We're good to go. Give each element a unique ID. You will also want to be able to use jQuery to target each button by its unique ID. Give each of your buttons a unique ID, starting with the target 1 and ending with target 6. Make sure that target 1 to target 3 are in the left well and target 4 to target 6 are in the right well. We're gonna go over here again. So we're gonna need to make a bunch of IDs. We're gonna use cursor to select all these. And we'll type ID equals target. And then get rid of the multi-cursor, and we'll just go through 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, not 7. And that should do that. Let's run the tests. We're good to go. Label Bootstrap buttons. Just like we labeled our wells, we want to label our buttons. Give each of your button elements text that corresponds to its ID's selector. Give your button element with the ID target 1. What's it want us to? Oh, okay. So it wants us to put text. So we'll come back over here. And with the multi-cursor, just select each spot here. Target. And select there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Place that over. Now we have all our targets. Run the tests. Oh, we need hashtags. So we'll hop back over here. Multi-cursor that. That's good. Run the test again. All right. Use comments to clarify code. When we start using jQuery, we will modify HTML elements without needing to actually change them in HTML. Let's make sure that everyone knows they shouldn't actually modify any of this code directly. Remember that you can start a comment with this markup and end it with this markup. Add a comment at the top of your HTML element that says only change code above this line. So we're going to add a comment, just wrap it here, and we'll copy it, run the tests. We're good to go. And that's it. That's it. Look at that. An hour on the dot. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. We don't really need this anymore. And that's it. That's it. That's it. All right. No. There we go. Well, thank you everybody that stopped by and watched. I'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. EST, to go over jQuery. I'll also be back later tonight, 8 p.m. EST, for some Clash Royale, if you're into that. Catch you all later. Peace.